I lost my son's college fund on a single hand of digital blackjack, but losing every dollar was nothing compared to what I lost next. My name is Michael, and up until 2 years ago, I was the guy who had it all figured out. A solid IT job in Austin, Texas, a beautiful wife, Sarah, and after 5 long years of trying, we were finally expecting a baby. We were careful, responsible. We had a budget for everything, especially the baby fund, a savings account we'd been feeding for years to cover the maternity leave and all the baby stuff. One Tuesday night, while Sarah was asleep, I saw an ad for Lucky Ace Casino during a football game. First-time players get a $10 bonus, it screamed. I don't know what came over me. I guess I was just bored. I signed up thinking I'd kill 10 minutes. I played digital blackjack. That first hand, I won $1. A single stupid dollar. But when that virtual confetti exploded on the screen and a little cha-ching sound played, I felt a rush I'd never felt before. It was like a bolt of pure electric excitement. I was hooked instantly. I told myself all the things you're supposed to. I'm not an addict. I have self-control. I'm just having fun. For the first few weeks, it felt like I did have control. I'd play for an hour after Sarah went to bed, sometimes winning $50, sometimes losing 20. It felt like a game. But then the losses started getting bigger. That's when the voice in my head started whispering, "You're due for a win, a big one. You can't stop now, not when you're about to hit it big." One night, I lost $500. My stomach dropped. I couldn't tell Sarah, so I did the unthinkable. I logged into our joint account, into the sacred baby fund, and I transferred $1,000 to my secret account. I told myself I'd win it back and replace it before anyone noticed. I was so sure. I lost it all in under an hour. The next morning, staring at my reflection in the bathroom mirror, the gravity of what I'd done started to sink in. But the shame was quickly replaced by a new, more terrifying thought. I had to win it back. I had to get into that account again. Sarah was 7 months pregnant and hadn't checked the balance in weeks. I had time, or so I thought. Later that day, Sarah came home from her baby shower, her face beaming. She threw her arms around me. My mom and aunts were so generous. "We have almost everything we need now. I'm going to transfer the rest of the gift money into the baby fund tomorrow so we have a cushion." I felt the blood drain from my face. The baby fund was empty. She was going to find out tomorrow.
The night was the longest of my life. I didn't sleep a wink. I just lay there next to Sarah, listening to her breathe, my mind racing through 1,000 terrible scenarios. I thought about confessing, but the look of pure joy on her face when she talked about the baby kept me silent. I was a coward. The next morning, I pretended to leave for work early. I just drove around, my phone in my hand, sweating. At 9:03 a.m., it rang. It was Sarah. Her voice was quiet, confused. "Michael, I'm at the bank. There's a problem with the baby fund. The teller says there's only 87 cents in there. That can't be right, can it?" I pulled over, my vision blurring. "Sarah, I can explain." I told her a version of the truth. I said I'd had a moment of weakness, that I'd lost $1,000, that I was sick about it. I poured all my remorse into that phone call, sobbing, calling myself a failure. I left out the part about the other $500 I'd lost from our checking account. I left out the part where I was already planning how to get more money to play again.
There was a long silence on the other end. Then a sound I'll never forget. A quiet, broken sob. "You lost our baby's money on a game?" But then, being the incredible woman she is, she shifted from hurt to concern. "Michael, this is a problem, a real problem. This is gambling addiction. You need help. We'll get through this, but you have to promise me no more, not a single cent." I promised. I swore on my unborn son's life, and I meant it in that moment. The guilt was crushing me. For 2 weeks, I was a model husband. I attended therapy sessions Sarah found for me. I read the pamphlets. I deleted the casino app. But the itch was still there, under my skin, constant. The voice was back. "You were so close. One big win and you could replace it all and be the hero." I couldn't ask Sarah for money, so I started lying to my friends. I told my best friend Dave that Sarah had developed a rare pregnancy complication and our insurance was fighting the bills. I laid it on thick, voice cracking. Good old Dave, without a second thought, Venmo'd me $5,000. "Whatever you need, man," he said. I got a new phone, used a different email, and downloaded the casino app again. The $5,000 was gone in 3 days. I didn't even feel the rush anymore. I just felt numb and a new, deeper layer of self-loathing. I was now the guy who used his pregnant wife as a sob story to fund his addiction. Our son, Liam, was born into a cloud of my secret. The first time I held him, I cried. But they weren't happy tears. They were tears of shame. He deserved so much better than me. While Sarah was recovering, exhausted and hormonal, I was in the hospital bathroom, placing $20 bets on my phone. His cries didn't mean "I'm hungry" to me. They meant I'm a distraction from the game.
The first year of Liam's life was a special kind of hell that I created. We lived in a constant state of financial panic, but only Sarah and I knew it. To her, it was a mystery why we were so broke. To me, it was a daily, suffocating reality. I had maxed out every credit card. I had taken personal loans from 3 other friends, each with a more elaborate lie. My debt was a monster, now over $100,000, and it was eating us alive. We argued about money constantly. We couldn't afford new clothes for Liam, so he wore hand-me-downs from a neighbor. There were weeks where Sarah would meticulously count out coupons to buy the cheapest store-brand diapers, and I'd secretly be wondering if I could hawk my wedding ring for a few $100 to get back in the game. The lowest point came one Tuesday. Sarah was in tears, holding Liam, who had a bad diaper rash. "We need the special cream, Michael. The doctor said it's the only thing that will help. It's $20. We don't have $20. I looked at my son's red, sore skin and felt a stab of guilt so sharp it took my breath away. But the addiction whispered louder. "If you can just win $50, you can buy the cream and have 30 left. I told Sarah I'd find a way, and I drove to a payday loan place across town. I took out a $300 loan with astronomical interest, bought the $20 cream, and went home and gave Sarah the jar like I was some kind of hero. She hugged me, so grateful. That night after she fell asleep, I lost the remaining $280 in 15 minutes.
I was a ghost in my own life. I'd come home from my IT job, ignore my son's outstretched arms, and disappear into the garage or the bathroom to gamble on my phone. Sarah's eyes, once full of love, were now just tired and hollow. The woman I loved had become a stranger, worn down by a battle she didn't even know she was fighting. On Liam's first birthday, we had a small party. Sarah had baked a sad little cake from a box mix. There were no presents from us. Liam was happy, smashing cake in his high chair, oblivious. But I saw the look on Sarah's face as she watched him. It was a mixture of profound love and utter defeat. After we put Liam to bed, she didn't say a word. She just went to our bedroom, pulled out a suitcase, and started packing. My heart started hammering against my ribs. "What are you doing?" I asked, my voice barely a whisper. She didn't even look at me. "I'm done, Michael. I can't do this anymore. I can't watch my son live like this. I can't live like this. Please, Sarah, I'll stop, I swear." She finally turned to me, and the look in her eyes silenced me. It was pure, cold finality. "You've been stopping since before he was born. Your promises are worthless. You've chosen a screen over your family. Now you can have it." She took Liam, the diaper bag, and one suitcase. She walked out of our apartment, out of my life, and blocked my number before she even got to her mom's house. I was alone, standing in the silence of a home that was no longer a home, surrounded by the ghosts of everything I had destroyed.
The silence after they left was deafening. For a week, I lived in a fog of self-pity and desperation. I called Sarah from blocked numbers until her mom changed her number. I emailed her, begging, but the emails bounced back. She had truly erased me. The debt collectors were not so easy to shake. Their calls were constant, their threats graphic. My paycheck was gone before I even got it, devoured by minimum payments. The walls were closing in. One night, staring at a pile of final notice envelopes, I knew I had only one way out. It felt like the only choice I had left. I drove to the bridge on the outskirts of town, the one everyone called Suicide Bridge. The Colorado River looked black and cold below. I climbed onto the railing, the metal cold through my jeans. I was ready to let go. I was a failed husband, a failed father, a failure as a man. The world would be better off. And then my phone rang. The sound was so jarring, so normal in that moment,
that I fumbled for it. It was Dave, my best friend, whom I'd lied to and stolen from. I almost didn't answer, but some tiny, surviving part of me picked up. "Mikey, you there, man?" he asked, his voice easy and familiar. I couldn't speak. A choked sob was all that came out. "Mike, what's wrong? Talk to me." And it all just poured out. Standing on that ledge, I vomited every rotten truth. I told him about the lies, about Sarah's pregnancy complications, about the $100,000 debt, about the payday loans, about Sarah and Liam leaving. I told him about the feeling of the cold railing under my hands. I was hysterical, snot and tears streaming down my face, confessing to the darkest, most shameful chapters of my life.
There was a long silence on the other end. I expected anger. I expected him to hang up. I deserved it. Instead, his voice was firm, clear. "Listen to me. Do not move. I am coming to get you right now. Give me your location. Now, Michael." The authority in his voice broke through my hysteria. I gave him my location. 20 minutes later, his truck screeched to a halt. He didn't yell. He didn't lecture. He just walked up to me, wrapped his arms around me, and pulled me down from the railing. I collapsed against him, crying like a child. He drove me not home, but to a place 2 hours away, a rehab center specializing in gambling addiction, nestled in the Texas Hill Country. "I'm paying for the first month," he said, his jaw set. "You're going to get clean, or you're going to die, and I'm not going to let you die." I was admitted that night. The first week was pure hell. The cravings were a physical pain. I had hallucinations, vivid waking dreams that my phone was buzzing with the notification that I'd hit a $50,000 jackpot. I'd jerk awake, scrambling for a phone that wasn't there, my heart racing. I was detoxing from dopamine, and it was worse than any flu.
Rehab was the hardest thing I've ever done. It wasn't just about resisting the urge to gamble. It was about tearing down the person I had become and rebuilding from the foundation. I had to face the lies, the manipulation, the sheer selfishness. In group therapy, I listened to stories that mirrored my own, and for the first time, I didn't feel alone in my shame. I was just another guy who'd set his life on fire for a digital high. The counselors made me write a letter to Sarah, not to send, but for me. I had to detail every betrayal, every dollar stolen, every moment I chose the game over my son. I had to read it out loud. I vomited halfway through. It was brutal, but it was the beginning of my cleanse. After 3 months, I was discharged. I was sober, but I was broke and broken. Dave let me sleep on his couch. I got my old IT job back, and every single paycheck, every bonus went to the debt. I lived on rice and beans. I sold my car and took the bus. For 5 years, my life was just work and debt repayment. It was a grueling, monotonous penance. There were no quick fixes, no magical solutions, just the slow, hard work of rebuilding trust. I started sending Sarah money orders for Liam, even if it was just $20 at first. No notes, just the money. I never missed a child support payment. After a year, I sent a letter through my lawyer, simply stating I was in recovery and providing my contact information if she ever felt safe to use it. She didn't respond for another year. Then, one day, an email appeared. Liam asked about his father. That was it. Those 4 words shattered me. We started with emails, then brief, supervised Zoom calls. Seeing my son's face, now 6 years old, was a pain and a joy I can't describe. He was a real person, with my wife's eyes and a curious, cautious nature. The road back is long, and it's not over. I still have debt, but it's manageable now. I still go to support meetings. The itch is always there, a faint whisper in the back of my mind, but I've learned how to silence it. Last month, Sarah agreed to meet me for coffee. Just us. She looked older, wiser, and she had a light in her eyes again that I had extinguished. We didn't talk about the past. We talked about Liam, his love for dinosaurs, his struggles in math. As we were leaving, she paused. He wants to see you for his birthday next week. It wasn't forgiveness. It might never be, but it was a chance, a small, fragile chance to be in my son's life, to show him through my actions every single day that the man I was is not the man I am. The money I lost was just paper. The family I lost was everything. And maybe, just maybe, I can earn back a piece of it.